It's Monty once again from DPO Surveillance Equipment. I'm back from services such as Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, various financial news services to make sure I keep up to date on what's going on domestically and internationally. Anything that concerns money and the economy and such. I usually want to stay abreast of it. And at the same time doing my chores, so get a chance to multitask a little bit, while at the same time, of course, looking at the big picture. It doesn't hurt to look at the big picture. Where are we going as a family? Where are we going as a business? Society, all of those things need to be considered and reevaluated every so often. So you may ask yourself, who am I? My name is Monty Henry, owner of DPO Surveillance Equipment. We're a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. We have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all the products, 24/7, 365, tech, sales, and customer support. We have the largest inventory of items that not only can you buy, but you can rent or lay away as well. In addition to that, we have one of the largest demonstration video libraries, online or offline for that matter. Let me cut off my ringer on my phone. I don't want to be disturbed right now. I want to give you my undivided attention. We have one of the largest depositories of articles, podcasts, blogs, and videos, as I mentioned. So go to the website if you want and take advantage of all of this free information that I've been accumulating over the last 20 years or so, and on the various topics. So you get a chance to learn a lot of different things, and it might be health related, it might be economics and finance, it might be cybersecurity, it might be terrorist or anti-terrorist related technologies, you name it, surveillance, counter-surveillance, you name it. We're covering it more than likely, or have covered it. We revamped the website, redesigned it, paid a good amount of money to get it completely redone so that it's easy to use, easy to navigate, operates very fast on your mobile device, for instance, and it should be optimized SEO-wise for the search engines to make it easy to pull it up and find it and all that. So in addition to that, we always have to remind you guys, we're going to be slowly but surely getting rid of all credit card-based transactions. In other words, when you go to our website in the very near future, you won't be able to use MasterCard or Visa or American Express. We're tired of MasterCard and Visa and American Express cheating us, interfering with our transactions. The discount fees, the badge fees, all of these things have been eating into our profits and just disrupting the way we operate. We have our own terms and conditions. I'm very capable of talking to my customers, interacting with my customers, discussing things such as how to handle returns, how to handle refunds and all that. I don't need MasterCard or Visa or anybody else trying to tell me how to run my business. So that's why we're going to get away from those guys. We're going to concentrate on transactions that are like cash, Bitcoin, for instance, and cashier's checks and money orders. Those types of things are going to be what's more important to us and more important for our business and the viability of our business going forward. Now, today's topic is rather timely in that because Facebook has been going through some troubles. They're in the news right now, and they're trying to figure out how to keep themselves relevant. Now, the title of this particular podcast, let's see, what is the title? I want to make sure I quote it correctly because it's very important that you guys understand this. Facebook is, let's see, I'll just tell you. Facebook to banks. Give us your data. We'll give you our users. Now, Facebook is going to large U.S. banks and asking them to share financial information about customers as it seeks to boost user engagement. Facebook wants to know as much as possible about your credit card transactions, checking account balances, as part of an effort to offer new services to its users. In other words, since Facebook has been getting into so much trouble with the scandal involving Cambridge Analytica, now it wants to sort of make up ground, because I think Facebook lost like $120 billion with that scandal with Cambridge Analytica. So in order to make up for that, they're trying to partner with large banks. You know, J.P. Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bancorp, Citigroup, all of these banks. Facebook is going there with hat in hand saying, give us your user data and we'll give you access to our 1 point something, almost 2 billion users. And again, the thing that what Facebook wants to do is offer us the ability to use Messenger in a way that allows you to allows you to have checking account balances and certain transaction related information show up in your Messenger app. Okay, I don't think this is worth the trade-off in privacy and security, actually, because banking and social media are two different animals, and I don't see the connection. And as far as I'm concerned, when you bank, you bank. When you socialize in a restaurant or a bar, even on Facebook or Twitter, you're socializing. You don't need to be mixing everything together, especially things that have to do with your finances and your income or your money and that type of privacy. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's see here. What else I want to let you guys know about? Again, well, some of the most important things is that you guys want to go to your bank's websites or go to your bank's social networking sites. If it's Citigroup or Wells Fargo, go to their Facebook page, go to their Twitter pages, go to their home pages for their websites, or call customer service and let them know you're dead set against having them give your information to Facebook. Mainly because, Facebook is in the business of selling and marketing and using user data. That's their primary business. And that's their only business, really, how to monetize personal information. And if part of that personal information is going to be now your transaction-related, checking account-related information, now you're really going to have a problem. So I think you better get on top of this and get in touch with your bank ASAP and let them know. Just tell them, if you share my personal information with Facebook, I'm going to close my checking account or whatever accounts that I have with you. It's really that simple. Despite this person, Elizabeth Diana, who's saying we don't use purchase data from banks or credit card companies for ads. She's a spokeswoman for Facebook. We also don't have special relationships, partnerships, or contacts with banks or credit card companies to use their customers' purchase data for ads. All of that is a lie, and all of that is meaningless. Mainly because, after you gather so much information on any individual, particularly from the internet, you can correlate and cross-correlate information in a way that allows you to see basically everything that you need to see. In other words, if I get some information from Facebook, get some information from Twitter, get some information from LinkedIn, ultimately, I can see everything I need to see about you. So again, who cares what Facebook says about its partnerships in terms of what it's not going to do with the limited information from banks? Because after you get that information, and if Facebook just combines that information from the banks with what they already have, they can have a very clear profile or idea of how you handle your finances. Is that plain? It's that plain and simple. And see, banks also are hurting. And Facebook is not alone. Facebook is amongst other social sites companies. Google Assistant, Amazon's Alexa, they all are trying to gather banking-related information as well. So just be aware of the fact that there's a big money grab out there, and it's about your banking related user data. Again, whether it's Google's Alphabet trying to get that information onto Google Assistant, or Amazon trying to get that banking user data onto its Alexa platform, or Facebook. It's all the same. Everybody is getting desperate out there to market that data. And see, I'm an old-fashioned person when it comes to user data. I don't care about marketing user data from my customers. If I have a viable business and a viable product, that means my product should bring in enough income, enough revenue to my business, not my user data. I shouldn't be selling all the email addresses and all of the transaction-related information from my customers. That I think companies are doing that out of desperation. Once their primary products and services stop selling, then that's what they do. They go to the user data and they start selling that. It's akin or close to what happens in a store liquidation, for instance. When a store goes out of business, declares bankruptcy, and starts to liquidate, they sell the shelves, the furniture, the fixtures. This is what's happening in the online space. If you can't sell your primary product or can't make enough money on your primary product or service online, you start selling user data. Here's my customer's name, address, phone number, social security number, and you start to sell all that off. I think that's ridiculous, and that's what's happening. So be aware of that. So what else I want to make you guys aware of? Oh yeah, by the way, before I forget, companies in China have actually figured out how to integrate financial services into their WhatsApp and Line app and some of the other instant messaging apps. And Facebook is way behind the curve, has a whole lot to learn about privacy and security and all of that. But yeah, China has already set the model, set the precedent for how to handle that. And Facebook right now, and even Google and Amazon are trying to play catch up. When you integrate banking services into a instant messaging app, for instance, you really have to know what you're doing. And those guys over there are way ahead of us, and they're taking the lead. And it seems to be working for China, but in the United States, these people are incompetent. The social media companies are incompetent. The banks are incompetent. And then above all, we have law enforcement agencies that insist upon having less security because we keep trying to convince everyone in the United States that the bad guys are going to get access to these services. And when the government wants to know, law enforcement wants to know who's buying what, selling what, sending money back and forth. So you don't get the same type of security. You don't get the same type of reliability at all over here in the United States. So I don't know if we can duplicate even what China is doing with their instant messaging apps as far as allowing everyone to do banking services. JP Morgan says we're not sharing our customers' off-platform transaction data with these platforms and have had to say no to some things as a result, says spokeswoman Trish Wexler, Well, see, that's all bullshit as well because I know J.P. Morgan Chase very well, and in the crypto space, we've noticed that J.P. Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, all of these guys, they will say publicly one thing and privately do another thing. When you walk into a bank, for instance, and you see more employees, more staff than customers, just like a lot of these shopping malls. When you walk into a shopping mall and you go into the individual stores and you see more more staff than customers, that usually tells you there's a problem. So again, just remember, if the banks are getting desperate, and if they find a way to try to bring in more millennials and more people who don't care for walking into bank branches and such, then that's what they do. They start partnering with the Facebooks and the Googles and everybody else to try to reach more and more people to make up for the lack of customers that go into the branches and the banks. So anyway, I think I'm gonna, let me see anything else. Oh yeah, the banks have a service that they use for payments called Zelle. Zelle has been producing miserable results as compared to Venmo and some of the others. So again, this is an act of desperation because nobody's using Zelle, which is the payment service offered by the banks, the Wells Fargo's and the Citibanks and everybody else. They're trying to compete with PayPal's Venmo. But again, no young people cares for the bank's services, whether it's the payment services or the branch services, none of that stuff. The banks just are going to be dinosaurs and they're going to be extinct because of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and the blockchain very, very soon. And this is all an act of desperation. So we want you guys to see through it and understand that you need to contact, again, your bank as soon as possible. Contact Facebook. Let these guys know, look, if any of my customer user data makes it over to Facebook, I will close my bank account yesterday. So at the conclusion, like I always say at the conclusion of every single podcast, we want you guys to stay safe out there, keep your eyes and ears open, and have a great day, okay? We'll talk later. Thank you. Bye.